I've heard, I'm sure you've also heard, that it's better to take the Shahada as soon as possible.
Yes, I know that there are people kind of do that, and I respect the push for that, but I'm not in favor of that, because when somebody is truly not prepared for the Shahada, they generally don't have the adequate supports also built up around them to help them maintain their iman going forward. When people do a rushed Shahada, often I see them bouncing out of Islam much quicker. Whereas somebody who actually says, no, 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 let me just pump the brakes. Yes. And I get it, you know, and I tell these people who are taking it a little slow, I'm like, yes, don't take it slow, but don't take it too slow. Because when you're too slow, that's the aspect of shaitan working on your nafs, wanting to produce doubt so that you don't take that final step. And I was one of those people. But the thing is also, I wanted to create an environment when I did my Shahada, I did it in front of the people who were authentically there for me. Some converts are hauled up in front of people at a masjid that they don't even know. They do their Shahada, and then they get all the hugs and love, and then the phone numbers fly in, and then but there's still no contact a week later. That's a problem. And that's what breaks people's hearts. That's when this rushed mentality is not helpful. And that's why I would say, put our imams are equipped to deliver the Shahada, but they're not always equipped because the masajid around them is not necessarily equipped to actually have people step in and serve that convert properly for the first year or two.
Could you describe like an effective support system? What does that entail? Does that entail their family being on board, for example, having a few strong friends, having a masjid nearby?
It can. And it has to have a masjid that also understands, cultural competencies, a masjid that also understands knowing when to refer somebody maybe for mental health support. Because sometimes there are people that embrace Islam that have also some mental health issues, not severe ones, but sometimes there are severe ones there too. But sometimes somebody's got something going on that they need. That they sometimes people come to Islam and they think Islam is a complete religion, and you don't get me wrong, but the thing is, there's also certain levels of dunya-based knowledge, like medicine and psychology, that need to be employed in somebody's life in order for their life to be healthy. So a good support system, is you're hoping for that you do have a supportive non-Muslim family, but that's not always the case, right? Especially if somebody's a young convert and they're still living at home with their parents. And then they all of a sudden, hey, guess what, mom, dad, I've done this. And then it's like, huh? But then there are people, I've heard of it. I mean, there was a 16-year-old Shahada in 2020, but her parents were supportive. Hi there, guys.
Yeah, I think it just cut off for a second there.
No
you were
worries.
mentioning there was a 16-year-old in 2020, but
there was a 16-year-old Shahada in 2020, and her parents were supportive, which is great. And again, masajid, and this is not to speak specifically about just say our city, Calgary, but in general, like a template would be that you have a masajid that provides, regular help to a new Muslim once in a while when they really need it. And if a masajid can't handle that, that may need to be farmed out to a third party person who or third party group that knows the processes and can actually step in on that matter in a way that still helps, because sometimes our imams, bottom line, are stretched thin, right? And so we need some sort of, some sort of people in the community that can help out with that kind of thing. Whether that is youth who are also, reviving their Islam as well, because like a Muslim who was born Muslim and then kind of steps away from it a little, or is a little bit lackadaisical, and then they're all of a sudden they're in a process of revival. They have a lot in common with a convert, and if you pair them together, their religiosities are almost at the same level, and they can actually explore and learn at the same time in parallel, and almost learn the same things, and kind of co-support each other. But then also you got to have age appropriate support. Like, I'm not necessarily going to want to throw a 20-year-old in to help a 40-year-old convert, and vice versa. You need to have the generational compatibilities as well, and also gender compatibilities. I'm not necessarily going to be going, this gentleman is going to help this lady. There are times when sometimes there are, the necessity is there. But the thing is, you try to find also, like, this is a good sister to help that sister, and that's a good brother to help that brother. The other thing is, I really am not a fan of people doing their embrace of Islam when they're at a masjid, and then everybody throws up their phone and they record it. That's shameful, because the thing is, people have a right to their privacy. Yes, they're doing a public shahada in the house of Allah or wherever they're doing it. But the thing is, we then take those shahadahs and post it all over the internet to, again, consume as spectators. It's disgusting. We could be harming the person's bodily security. What if there's somebody in their life that doesn't want them to become a Muslim, and they see that video on the internet? And then that causes them a huge problem. So I advise all masajid and all people who are doing dawahs and giving shahada, if you're going to give shahada, designate only one person to be recording that shahada over a video or audio. And tell the others, if there is people witnessing it, witness it with your eyes, and that's it. And be happy with that. Be content with that. You don't need to record it and consume it again and again. It's gross. Did the Sahaba have recording devices for that? No, they didn't. They were satisfied when they saw the shahadas in front of them. Let's try to act like the Sahaba. I sound so passionate about it. It frustrates me. It just, because, again, people consume the shahadas of converts like candies in a dish. It's a personal thing for some people, and we have to treat it with that kind of dignity.
So do you think perhaps what's lacking somewhat in the Dawah scene is lack of authenticity, sincerity?
Yeah.
Perhaps it's just a numbers game. Shahada, record a video, and you don't care about what happens after.
I would say that the people are sincere. Their niyyah is good, but they're really not looking at then their modality. They look at what they're doing with that type of stuff, and then going, what am I really up to here? There's a brother here. There's a brother here in Calgary who has had his Embrace of Islam story constantly republished by a particular Dawah YouTube channel on their website without his permission all the time. And it's just like, oh my God, are you serious? And so that's the thing. Again, converts and anybody who becomes a Muslim or is planning to, and you're hearing this, please take control of how you do your shahada. You control who is there, who is delivering it, and who you are going to have recording it. Because the thing is, it is not fair to you that your story then becomes this, it becomes exploitive. That's what I'm saying. And it does become a numbers game. Some people just look for it and go like, oh, that's another notch in the belt. Awesome.
Do you think perhaps so shifting to after some reverts after their shahada, do you think there's a barrier to these reverts when met with common doubts and questions? There's a barrier to them asking imams or people in the masajid or asking even other Muslims? Like they shy away from that because they don't want to be seen in a certain way or as if they're questioning the faith?
They're shy about it, I think. I think sometimes they think they can get it, maybe if they've married into a family, that they think that they're going to get it all from there. And again, there are people who are just straight up, they want to be crypto Muslims. I get it. There are people that want to do that. However, that has its dangers because our religion is a religion of communalism. And I do my best to explain to new converts that, do what you can to learn on your own, but also start putting yourself in environments where you can learn and build yourself up in a community. I will help you with that. However, you have to also I think the convert has to really understand that they have to take control of their situation and not just lean on the masajid. The masajid is not going to save the day. They need to find people who are well versed and knowledgeable about embracing Islam, and not to toot my own horn, but there are people in North America and the UK that are even far more better trained than I am to be dealing with this. I'm just happen to be the guy here in Calgary dealing with it as a local response. So wherever you are in Canada, you have to, or in the US, the UK, or Australia, or other parts of the world, you got to find somebody who has been through it so that you can get some sound advice and consistent suhbah. You want to develop suhbah with good people so that you do have a consistent basis to be with, and don't be afraid to develop a community or collectivize a community of converts. If Black American Muslims can collectivize a community, if Arabs can collectivize a Muslim community, if Desis can collectivize a Muslim community, well, what's preventing East Asian people embracing Islam or European people from, when they embrace Islam? What's stopping us from collectivizing and creating a community for ourselves? Because when we're together, we'll feel safer and more comfortable. Right? And it doesn't mean we exclude others. No. But it just means okay, we kind of know the standard operating system here.